Good evening and welcome along to Business. Today I'm Jerome Bolt Sonko with Winnie Buyinza Nakauchi on sign language. But first, let's have a look at our top stories. Now first, the World Bank's economic outlet. The World Bank has highlighted the significance of regional and international commerce integration to Uganda's future development. And also tonight, we look at Parliament performance for the year 2022. Matthias Mpuuga cautions the government against vague budgets and failing to provide money. Then lastly, still also in business today, we look at Kampala City Council Authority, which has collected 95 billion Ugandan shillings as revenue annually. Now we get right on to it, as the leader of opposition in Parliament, Matthias Mpuuga, has cautioned government over what he calls an ambitious budget of 48.1 trillion shillings that was passed in May this year. He says government projects like the parish development model will just remain on paper, but not in reality. We have more in this report.
Mpuuga underlined that although Parliament enacted the budget of 48.1 trillion shillings post-COVID-19 to help the economy recover, nothing has yet been realized aside from the ongoing borrowing when discussing the performance of Parliament for the year 2022-2023.
Warned that a post-COVID economy would require delicate handling and that the priorities of the country should have some level of serious imagination. Our advice was never heeded, and where we are, we all know that the Ministry of Finance supplies air MDAs. They supply them with documents that they have been given money, and then the money is not in the accounts. You understand now the kind of insensate, despite borrowing to a country already saddled in a huge debt. We even advised that it was not late to revise the budget, an ambitious blind budget that was passed by Parliament. And our advisory is on record.
According to him, lack of funds in the Treasury prevents the government from telling people who are eagerly waiting for programs like parish development model the whole truth, which is why they have been unable to get it off the ground.
So Ugandans should brace themselves for even harder times, because there's nothing going on to give people hope that next year will be any better. We all know that the PDM was a stillbirth. Every newspaper every week has money from the PDM being released, but that money has never reached. Probably somebody is taking it on foot. I hope it was not given the Prime Minister on her mobile phone to again send to another, border man who is non-existent. So the PDM was a stillbirth, and all you there expecting money from the PDM, please go and think anew. There's no money. The PDM is there on paper. If you want paper, please come for it at finance. There's no money.
The parish development model, in the opinion of several lawmakers from both the ruling party and the opposition, was a fine idea, but insufficient research was done to determine its sustainability, which is why it has not taken off in many districts.
Instead of PDM raising hope of people for nothing, like in our area in Acholi sub-region, why not to give tractors to our people? Even if in a parish you give one tractor, let us support people so that they open up their own garden, they work their own money. And sincerely, this idea of giving money to people, and even if the money was there, truly, you are giving money to someone who has never done any business, someone who is in the village, someone who does not have a bar of soap, even salt in their house. Automatically will get the money and use the money, and that is going to be the end of everything. So I really feel the organizers, the planners for the PDM, I think they have misled the government. This is a very fake program. It won't work in the villages where I come from.
A parish development model was a good idea initiated by the president. But that needed research and policy written. As I talk now, in my constituency of Buchimbiri County and Isoro District, they have not received more than 7.2 million shillings, meaning that out of the 50 million, because we are now in the second quarter of 100 million, we should have received 50 million. But now there is less than 10 million received, and they are under instructions not to touch that money. So nobody in my constituency has benefited or implemented the program. What I would appeal to government is that they should now publish where the money was given, because many people are talking about money being given, but there is no document to show that the money was given. So, although it's a good idea to address poverty and the home income, the government first mobilize sufficient resources.
However, according to Honorable Angura Frederick, despite initial difficulties with the parish development model, including theft of the initial tranche of funds provided in some districts, those problems have been resolved and organized groups have already collected the funds.
However, we must also admit and appreciate that in the rolling out of this program, there have been a few challenges that needed further perfection in order for us to avoid the problems we have encountered with the past social intervention programs. However, we have also had a problem of the resource envelope, aware that we run a cash budget as a country. Definitely, we needed government through Ministry of Finance to prepare themselves well, seal off all the gaps that would create leakages. The first monies that were released, you are aware that some accounting officers are even in prison up to now. I am happy that government has done what it has in form of bridging the gaps, and the money is now starting to move out. What we want finally to see is action on the ground.
The first batch of funds for the parish development model were released and deposited into accounts, but many people are unable to take the funds because of new government regulations. Samlanifa, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Right now, we talk matters adopting digital food exportation. As technology used in the agriculture industry is growing and exporters are collaborating with the Ministry of Agriculture and other partners to expand the export market. Through the development and implementation of cutting-edge agriculture technologies, methods, and market connections, food exporters and farmers are investing in sustaining and increasing farmer productivity as well as household income. We have more in this report.
The digital market is giving food exporters more power by providing digital transparency for both food and documentation, supply chain management, connections to food exporters, opening up trade financing, and real agriculture inputs. In Uganda, this has benefited over 25,000 farmers, supported 100 agribusinesses, and generated 5,000 jobs across various agriculture value chains. This has facilitated trade and supported the effective, speedy, and convenient export of goods from Uganda to countries across the world.
Having a market value of over 30 in terms of agri-food. Look out for just for Africa. And then Uganda alone, I want you to have this value of 1 plus 300 million. And how the infrastructure comes to just a group.
The Ministry of Agriculture is collaborating with groups like Caminera and Hotfresh to expand the export market and help local farmers sell their goods abroad. The government regulates all these operations. Therefore, digitizing food exports will help the agriculture industry and enable farmers and exporters to trade freely.
But it doesn't stop us from having our individual. Before we actually intercept your thing, you should have intercepted it time ago. That should be odd. Before the inspector comes and says this one have a problem, should have known what the problem earlier than us. So I encourage all of us to embrace digital solutions to ease our operations, ease our work in whatever we are doing, especially with our fruits, flowers, and vegetable sector.
Mr. Okech Lawrence stressed that the implementation of technology will increase value addition in the agriculture industry. As a result of increased monitoring, regulation, and looking for internet venues, high-grade products can now be exported. He continued by saying that since these technologies are safe and secure for trade, export monitoring is simple.
For us to have the consumer of what we are producing and selling and exporting satisfied, actually to exceed their expectations, we need to look at the whole of our value chain, and that therefore means what is put in, how it is applied, how it is managed, how it is handled at the pack house until how it reaches the consumer. So that will be something that is very important that we need to look at critically, and why we need to use technology. It helps us in our value chain management.
Utilizing technology in the agriculture industry, particularly during export, will speed up trade in Uganda. As technology develops, exporters will receive updates that will make it easier for them to conduct business. The use of digital formats during exporting allows farmers to control their trade because it not only tracks the location of the farmer's products, but also offers the documentation of the full export process. The government plans to support 1.5 million farmers, enable 1,000 food exporters, and generate 75,000 indirect jobs throughout various agricultural value chains in East Africa. Together with the working partners, the work goal will be achieved. Uganda's expansion and improved export market connections are made possible by the digitization of food exports. Martha Nimsima, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Now we look at the economic stimulus strategy, as the economic activity has drastically declined with reduced demand for agricultural produce, the disruption of input supplies to manufacturers, as well as disruption of micro, small and medium-sized enterprises activities. Now the inflows of foreign direct investment and remittances of Ugandans in the diaspora, and most Ugandans not indulging themselves in opportunities, have also declined sharply. We have more in this report.
Despite the unwillingness of some Ugandans to take advantage of the economic prospects that would actively encourage the development of African and international markets to permit access by Ugandan businesses, Uganda continues to establish an integrated self-sustaining economy.
If President Museveni comes back, like he came back from Vietnam, now coming back from UK and USA, and bringing up, like market opportunities, for you, you have to sit on your own and ask yourself, how can I tap into the market opportunities the president is bringing to the country?
In the last 2 decades, East African nations have had exceptional economic progress, and the majority of them have seen considerable declines in poverty. However, the region's level of inequality remains high, while the majority of people are struggling to achieve their most basic necessities, like health, education, and wealth, is becoming concentrated in the hands of a very small number of people.
When you listen to the transformation agenda of those Asian tigers, Parliament has a role to do. Like, for example, how do you appropriate money? Which kind of programs can you appropriate money to which can transform the lives of Ugandans? So in your small cocoon, as an individual, as an entity, you have to listen to what people are bringing to Uganda and you ask yourself, what can I do to tap into these opportunities? What can I produce? What kind of value addition should I add, to tap into this whatever?
Several opportunities that we have to craft the economic stimulus and growth strategy include building a strong and lasting economy requires the formalization of informal business practices, the digitalization of numerous socio-economic activities to increase efficiency and cut costs, and the reforming of urban transportation to ease traffic. Ronia Katsime, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
Now we look at fighting unemployment in the country. Uganda does graduate thousands of young people annually from different universities and tertiary institutions around the country. However, youth unemployment rate is still high and it stands at 70%. In a bid to curb this unemployment gap, MTN Uganda has embarked on the new innovation in its new program of MTN-S, which is aiming at equipping the youth with new technology, innovation and knowledge. We have more in this report.
Uganda channels out a number of graduates from different educational institutions annually, but most of them lack skills and competence for jobs, and that is why MTN Uganda, in partnership with the Ministry of ICT, have embarked on offering training to them.
The reason we are putting up these programs here is to promote and build your capacity to the level that is acceptable by the private sector or by various employers across the globe. In addition, local education institutions have started offering certain programs, especially those targeting emerging fields in IT. Last week, we launched the 4IR strategy that is aimed at, creating an environment of guidelines on how we can implement various things, robotics, artificial intelligence, etc. So government is aware that we have to transform digitally and is creating all channels for you, the young people, to take them on.
Under this newly introduced program from MTN, youth from different corners of Uganda will be equipped in different innovations and career skills to enable them start their own enterprises.
So for us at MTN Uganda, it really is a great honor to launch another initiative today to supplement the government and the other partners' efforts in tackling the issue of unemployment in this country through leveraging ICT. The MTN Foundation, as you have seen from the video, is in partnership with the Ministry of ICT on various initiatives, and today we are unveiling a nationwide youth-centered program aimed at equipping young people with skills and opportunities to unlock the entrepreneurship, innovation, and job creation possibilities in this country. Uganda and its partners have introduced the MTN-ACE program targeting a wide base of youth in Uganda, including fresh graduates, innovators, and entrepreneurs, as well as those who are in or still out of school. This is all aimed at nurturing an all-around workforce with requisite skills for the 21st century job market, as well as generating a pool of job creators in an effort to alleviate their current unemployment dilemma that the youth in Uganda are currently facing. When you become an innovator, you're becoming an entrepreneur. When you become an entrepreneur, you end up realizing that you're not just pursuing the realization of your own dream, but you're also in the process allowing the realization of the dreams of others to be realized from the people that you employ.
The Minister of State for ICT, Honorable Joyce, applauded MTN and all its partners for the good initiative introduced and said it is in line with increasing access to technology. She appealed to the youth to utilize this opportunity and start up their own initiatives and drop the job hunting habits.
For this campaign, that is crucial to bringing the digital skill gap in the country, as it positions itself to implement the recently launched post-industrial revolution strategy. ICT skilling is at the heart of Uganda's NDP3, and that is why, as part of the National ICT Initiative Support Program, the government established the National ICT Innovation Hub to help nurture, accelerate, and influence homegrown innovative digital solutions. I urge the youth out there online to seize this opportunity to be trained and upskilled as we strive to secure our digital dividend as a country. I'm tired of seeing you begging for money, going around looking for money. Don't look for jobs, create some for yourselves.
Under this program, innovators will be skilled for a period of 9 months, career guidance 3 months, and those to be equipped with technological skills will take 6 months. The program will run in all cities with innovation hubs. Monica Nabyonga, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
All right, now Kampala City Council Authority has recorded 600 to 700 billion shillings in revenue in the collection shortfall from 35 billion 10 years ago. The KCCA now collects over 95 billion Ugandan shillings annually, primarily from property rates. This was further discovered during a two-day conversation with the mayors and city clerks of more than 10 communities, along with representatives from Kampala City Council Authority on issues related to public revenue mobilization. We have more.
The revenue gathered, according to David Luyimbazi, Deputy ED KCCA, is insufficient to meet the demands of the city, but government is still subsidizing the budget, which has been reduced from anticipated 1.2 trillion to 400 billion, which is less than what the city needs.
As you're aware, KC faces challenges in regard to revenue mobilization. If you look at the amount of money we collect, whereas we improved our revenue collection from 35 billion in 2011 to about 95 billion 10 years later, that is 2021-22, the amount of revenue raised is not equal to the needs of the city. Whereas government continues to subsidize the activities of the city by up to about 400 billion shillings every year, the needs of the city, according to our strategic plan, are about 1.2 trillion every year. That means there's a shortfall of around 700 billion. Now, we must therefore improve our domestic revenue mobilization in order to be able to implement our strategic plan.
The discussion aimed to bring together Uganda's 12 cities so that they could exchange ideas on how to grow other towns by taking a page from Kampala, which serves as the capital. Since all cities confront the same issues, the enhanced revenue collection being the area of focus.
Cities face the same problems. Cities also have the same revenue sources. There's no reason why a young city like Arua doesn't learn from Kampala. So it establishes the same revenue sources and uses probably IT systems to make it more efficient. So an idea was mooted. Why don't we have national laws that can support every other city? But even the young cities can start off from a particular minimum platform of revenue collection. If we establish about 20% of the laws, we can realize about 80% of the potential revenue that a city can be able to collect. So we are discussing and we may be moving towards having national laws for revenue collection.
Stakeholders discussed the difficulties preventing them from doing well and urged the government to constantly take the concerns of the general public into account. The main issue stems from the fact that funds deposited in the consolidated fund account frequently do not release funds when expected. As a result, urban region growth is delayed.
One of the major issues we have is that the revenue we collect is deposited at the consolidated account, which takes more than 2 weeks to approve the money, despite the fact that the community is constantly making demands. I therefore propose that we be given responsibility to account for the revenue collected rather than simply depositing it. We are delayed by the service providers in most cases, since we always don't have cash to clear, and this affects our performance and the entire communities as well. But there is a bill in Parliament about giving rights of the money collected to the local government, and that will ease our work and extend services to the locals.
For Kampala Capital City Authority to fulfill its duties as outlined in Kampala Capital City Act 2010, revenue is a crucial component as per Section 50. The Act, which was passed by Parliament in compliance with Article 152 of the Constitution, grants KCCA the authority to charge, collect, and appropriate fees and taxes in accordance with laws. Design Nambiru, Smart 24 TV, Business Today.
And now we do head into a short commercial break, but we return with more Business Today, which also includes the Coffee God. Stick around.